I want to tell you about the day I walked into a kitchen that looked completely fine on the surface. Clean stations, experienced staff, a manager who knew his numbers, and franchisee who had been in the game for years. And they were bleeding quietly every single day. Nobody had stolen anything. Nobody was being careless. The kitchen was running exactly the way it always had. That's what made it so dangerous. What I found in that kitchen became the foundation of an entire chapter in my book, Franchising BS, because what was happening there wasn't unique. I've seen versions of it in almost every food business I've ever walked into. There are three specific ways kitchen lose money that never show up as an obvious problem. I call them the three silent killers, and today I'm going to show you exactly what they look like. Silent killer number one, missing stock that nobody reported. Silent killer number two, verbal corrections that the system never heard. Silent killer number three, a portion size that's slightly wrong and multiplying that mistake across every single plate. Let's go through each one. The first silent killer is missing stock. Here's how it showed up in that kitchen. Sirloin steaks, a high value item, the kind where every unit matters. The system said they'd sold 20 portions out of a starting stock of 30. So mathematically, there should be 10 steaks left in that fridge. When we counted, 7. 3 steaks unaccounted for. At 4 Rand 50, that's a 13 Rand 50 gone in one day on one item. Now I know what you're thinking. 13 Rand 50 doesn't sound like a crisis, but this is where I need you to shift how you're looking at it. That's not 13 Rand 50 on a bad day. That's 13 Rand 50 every day on one item in one location. Multiply that across 10 high value items across 20 operating days a month, and you're looking at a number that could make any business owner sit down. So where did the 3 steaks go? That's the question nobody had asked. Not because anyone was hiding something, but because nobody had a system that made the question easy to ask. It could have been a portion sent out to a table that wasn't wrong. It could have been a staff meal that wasn't recorded. It could have been a steak that was dropped, binned, and forgotten about. Or it could have been something else entirely. The missing stock report doesn't tell you why it's gone, but it tells you that it's gone. And that's the conversation starter that most kitchens never have. The second silent killer is the one that frustrates me the most because it's entirely human and entirely preventable. Verbal corrections. Here's what happens. A customer orders a burger halfway through the ticket. They call the waiter back. Actually, can I swap the chips for a salad? The waiter goes to the kitchen, tells the chef verbally, the chef makes a change, the customer gets their salad, everyone's happy. Except the system still has chips on that order because nobody updated the ticket. So your variance report at the end of the day shows that chips went missing because they were recorded as used, but they weren't actually used. And it shows no record of the salad ingredients that were used because those were never logged. Now imagine that's happening 8 times in a lunch service, 15 times on a busy Saturday. Your variance data starts to look like chaos. Items showing losses that aren't real losses, items being used that the system has no record of. And when everything looks wrong, people stop trusting the report, which means nobody investigates things that are actually wrong. This is the sneaky part. Our verbal corrections don't feel like a stock control problem. They feel like a customer service. And they are, but they're also quietly poisoning your data every single time they happen without a system update to match. The fix isn't complicated, it's a discipline. Every correction that happens in that kitchen, however small, however rushed, needs to find its way back into the system, either in the moment or at the end of service before anyone goes home. Because a kitchen that runs on verbal instructions is a kitchen whose numbers can never fully be trusted. The third silent killer is the quietest of all, and in some ways the most expensive. Portion linkage errors. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Bacon, a staple on every breakfast menu. Let's say your recipe card, your system, is set up to use 25 grams of bacon per portion. That's what it expects. That's what it calculates every time a bacon dish is sold. but your kitchen is actually plating 30 grams, not because anyone made a decision to change it. Maybe the original person who trained the team eyeballed it. Maybe a new chef came in and their portions are slightly more generous. Maybe nobody has checked in months. 5 grams difference per plate sounds tiny, right? Let's do the numbers together. If you sell 120 bacon portions in a day, which is not unusual for a busy breakfast spot, that's 600 grams of bacon used that the system has no record of. That's effectively 24 portions that disappeared every single day. In my book, I call this the 6 portion disappearance because at 30 grams versus 25 grams, for every 5 portions you actually sell, the system only accounts for 4. The sixth one is invisible every time. And here's the thing that makes this one so hard to catch. The kitchen isn't doing anything wrong. The food looks great. The customers are happy. The chef is experienced. Nobody is stealing. The problem lives entirely in the gap between what the recipe card says and what actually is landing on the plate. This is why portion checks aren't about not trusting your team. They're about making sure the system knows what the kitchen is actually doing so the two can talk to each other properly. 3 silent killers, missing stock with no record of why. Verbal corrections that bypass the system and the portion sizes that are slightly off, compounding quietly every service, every day. None of them announce themselves. None of them feel like emergencies in the moment. But together, they are exactly the kind of leak that my big game is about closing. Women who build food businesses should not be losing them to gaps that nobody showed them how to find. Now I want to hear from you. I've just shared the real causes of kitchen loss with you, and I want you to be honest, not with me, but with yourself. I want you to think about which silent killer do you suspect is hurting your business most right now? Is it A, unrecorded waste of voids, stocks that gone but never explained? B, poor portion control. What's on the plate? Does it match what's in the system? C, supplier short deliveries. You're paying for stock that never actually arrived. Go ahead and choose which one is hurting your business most. And while you do, I want you to think about the last time you actually checked the area of your business, not assumed, check. Because whatever you just chose, that's where we're going next in the next module 3, focused on understanding the financial impact of this and on the business and the root cause. So before you go, I want to make sure you're not just leaving with awareness. Awareness alone doesn't close the leak. You need something in your hands. I've put together a set of digital tools specifically for this, and you can find them right now on hungerconsulting.etsy.com under the stock control category. Here's what's waiting for you there. The kitchen prep variance report. So you can start tracking what's actually being used versus what should be used every single prep session. The variance decoder worksheet, because spotting a number is one thing. Understanding why it's off is what actually fixes it. And the weekly and monthly restaurant loss calculator. So you can stop estimating and start seeing exactly how much is walking out the door in rands and cents every single week. Each of those tools is designed to be picked up and used immediately. No complicated setup, no accounting degree required. But here's the one I really want you to pay attention to. If you download the Stock Control Bundle, you'll unlock a bonus implementation guide, the Profit Pivot Playbook, 8 steps, 8 practical shifts that take what you've identified and turn it into a plan you can actually execute in your kitchen. No theory, no more things to worry about, a roadmap. So head to hungerconsulting.etsy.com, go straight to the stock control category and grab what you need. And I'll see you in module 3, where we're going to put a real number on the damage and trace in all the way back to the root.